G'day team, Craig here again from Imagine Homes. This is a short video to cover off on the other aspects of sustainable design we've yet to cover. We'll do this by providing with 5 design tips. This will conclude our introductory series on sustainable homes, but don't worry, we'll soon start demystifying the building process in our next instalment. If you have areas of sustainable design or any building issues you would like me to address, please drop me a line in the comments section below. So what we haven't covered so far: designing to minimise the use of water, the use of sustainable materials, designing to reduce operating costs, the size of the home, and finally how to actively manage the inside environment. This video should tie a neat bow around the key aspects you should be considering when designing your dream home. So let's get started. Tip number 1, design for water. In Australia, water is a precious and scarce resource. Certainly, where I live in Murrum-Bateman, we don't have town water at all. All of our water is harvested from the roof of our home and our outbuildings. We've been through 2 drought seasons and have yet to run out of water, despite many of my neighbours having to truck water in from Canberra. The difference between us? We have specifically designed our home to maximise water capture and minimise water usage. In Australia, water efficiency labelling was standard as a labelling scheme initiated by the Australian Government to help Australian households conserve water and money. This came into effect on the 1st of July 2006, where it became mandatory across Australia to carry a water rating label on all tapware, sanitary ware and water consuming appliances. Make use of this system when doing your selections. It'll be balanced between cost and efficiency, but a consideration nonetheless. I recommend using a minimum of 3 or 4 well-star rated shower heads, toilets and water fixtures. In addition, if you're living in a more urban environment, consider catching your rainwater in tanks for use in the bathroom and garden, and depending on your locations, have you thought about an on-site wastewater treatment system? Either aerated water treatment systems or, my favourite, the worm-based ones. Great for the environment and your garden as well. In addition, you can use drought-tolerant landscaping and mulch your gardens to prevent evaporation and also protect our little wormy mates who do a great job in our gardens. The second tip: use sustainable materials. Generally, the more processed the material is, the higher its embodied energy. So choose naturally sourced timbers, recycled and locally sourced materials, and low volatile organic compounds in your paints and finishes. When building, keep material use to a minimum. If you're renovating, reuse what you can from the pre-existing materials. And if you're considering masonry, consider using it on the interior as opposed to the exterior, where you can maximise its utility as a heat bank. Have a look at reverse brick for new construction. Consider the use of recycled materials and products made from recycled materials as opposed to brand new. Tip number 3, design for operating costs. It is important when considering operating costs to consider the relationship between designing for climate and the impact this has on energy consumption. Heating, cooling, lighting and refrigeration are the biggest consumers of energy. Consider providing a vent behind the fridge and freezer to allow heat to be extracted using natural convection, therefore reducing operating costs. Ensure you can close it during winter though. Use energy efficient lighting and appliances to further reduce the ongoing costs. The premium for energy efficient appliances is not much if you shop around. In most cases, the upfront cost will be more than offset by reduced running costs over time. During the design phase, consider the addition of renewable power. A well-designed house can be energy neutral if integration is done well. Consider where the energy market is heading. An informed decision during design is likely to provide profound dividends in the future. What about batteries? Is this your forever home? If so, the payback is probably well worth the investment right now. One free tip when considering a solar system though, something most solar companies conveniently don't disclose. Your PV system components are not created equally. The panels are designed to last 25 years, the inverter has an average lifespan of 8 years, and a lithium-ion battery has an average lifespan of 12 years. So you can expect to replace your inverter twice and your batteries once before you throw the entire system out and start again. Of course, this is likely to improve as technology progresses, but it's certainly a budgeting consideration today and something you should consider going forward. Tip number 4, Size really does matter. You, stop your giggling in the back there and get your mind back on the job. We here in Australia have some of the biggest homes in the world. This is not particularly efficient. Open plans homes with cathedral ceilings look fantastic. However, they require more energy to heat and cool. You can compensate for this in other areas during your design to cover increased insulation, good thermal mass, good solar passive glazing, the use of skylights to promote natural ventilation. The list goes on, but the cost also goes up. Good design maximises the utility of the home and results in higher energy efficiency standard and lower upfront and ongoing costs. So I'm not saying no to open plan designs or cathedral ceilings. I'm suggesting that you consider the overall package. Perhaps you have standard 2.4 ceilings in the other areas of the home. Sure, make the statement, but consider livability at the same time. Finally, tip number 5, actively manage the inside environment. This sounds like a bit of marketing jargon, however it's really the embodiment of the common sense approach to your living environment. Work with the elements to maintain your home in a comfortable state at all times. You can actively manage the solar exposure in addition to the passive steps taken during the design phase. Use the stack effect by opening skylights to create a natural crossflow in your ventilation. Consider installing a heat transfer system to capture heat above the solid fuel heater and distribute it to the other extremes of your home. Consider how you can incorporate drapes, curtains and floor coverings to further manage the inside environment. This brings to a conclusion our opening short series of videos on developing the design for your sustainable home. As I said up front, our next series of tips will be focused on demystifying the building process for you. Things like what questions to ask the builder before you start, clarifying some of the building jargon, and discussions relating to contracting. Then, depending on the comments received, we may move on to discuss some of the cool building trends and products that are influencing the sustainable home design and construction market at the moment. But it's really up to you. So in summary, sustainable design is all about common sense. There's no rocket science involved. Grasp the concepts we've discussed and take your builder to task. If he or she knows what they're on about, they'll handle the challenge with ease. If they start weaseling about, it's probably a very good indication that you need to look elsewhere. The approaches we've covered don't only reduce ongoing costs, but provide that livable feeling. Remember, you can take this even further by using curtains and blinds to manage the light and heat, windows to provide or prevent cooling, promote breezes through cross ventilation or convection, use thermal mass and renewable energy to cool and warm the home using free energy and to maintain it that way during the peak hours. If you have any areas that you would like me to explore further or any topics that you would like me to cover in the future, please comment below, send me an email or drop me a line on the Book of Faces or on our webpage. From Mitch, Sam and I, the team behind Imagine Homes, we wish you all the best in achieving your sustainable home dream. I look forward to seeing you in the next instalment. Cheers.